Got it. Here's your content exactly as provided. Number 12. The Smiling Crocodile Supper. You're on a wildlife tour, probably in Florida or Australia, and you spot a crocodile or an alligator. They're just lying there, motionless, perhaps with that permanent, eerie smile on their face, looking like a rather large, slightly bumpy log. You think, wow, so ancient, so calm, just basking in the sun. Maybe you even feel a pang of admiration for their prehistoric chill. They're basically big, lazy sunbathers. But that's precisely where your brain is playing a very dangerous trick on you. That calm isn't serenity, it's hyper-efficiency. Crocodilians are ambush predators, and their apparent laziness is actually extreme energy conservation. Every single calorie they consume is dedicated to growing bigger and stronger so they can, well, eat whatever comes close enough. That toothy grin isn't a sign of happiness. It's a perfectly evolved structure for snapping things in half. And speaking of what they eat, it's not just fish. Anything that wanders to the water's edge, dogs, deer, unwitting tourists, it happens, is fair game. They have one of the strongest bite forces on the planet, capable of crushing bone. They can lie submerged for hours, barely breathing, just waiting for that one moment of inattention. That quiet, motionless form? It's a spring-loaded trap, and you're potentially the cheese. Basically, if a crocodile is smiling, it's probably because it's already decided what's for dinner, and it might be you. Number 11. The Gentle Deer's Secret Rage. Imagine a serene forest scene, sunlight dappling through the leaves, a gentle breeze, and then a beautiful deer emerges from the trees. Wide, innocent eyes, graceful movements, nibbling on some grass. They're practically Bambi, right? Harmless, timid, the embodiment of nature's purity. You just want to admire them from a distance, perhaps capture their peaceful essence with your camera. They seem utterly incapable of violence. Well, get ready for your tranquil forest fantasy to be violently trampled. While deer might look like soft, vegetarian icons, they are incredibly powerful animals with sharp antlers and hooves capable of serious damage. Male deer, especially during mating season, the rut, can become incredibly aggressive, fighting each other brutally and charging at perceived threats. And that includes you. Their gentle nature quickly evaporates when territoriality or mating rights are on the line. But it's not just the males. Mother deer, protective of their fawns, can be equally, if not more, dangerous, delivering powerful kicks with their sharp hooves if they feel their offspring are threatened. People often underestimate them. Assuming their size means they'll just run away. They often do, but when they don't, the consequences can be severe. There are countless reports of deer attacking humans, sometimes fatally. So, while you're thinking pretty, that deer might be thinking intruder, and it's got a pointy hat and a mean kick. Basically, Bambi can go full Rambo if you get too close to his family or his ladies. Number 10. The Sweet Loris's Toxic Bite. You see a slow loris, right? Big, round, soulful eyes that stare into your very soul. Tiny hands gripping a branch, moving with an endearing slowness. They look like the most precious, delicate, and utterly helpless little creatures in the entire jungle. People online obsess over videos of them being tickled or holding tiny umbrellas. You just want to scoop them up and give them a protective hug. They are, without a doubt, one of the internet's most universally awe-inspiring animals. Prepare for your heart to be broken, and possibly for your skin to break out in an allergic reaction. What if I told you that this adorable furball is actually one of the only venomous primates on Earth? Yes, venomous. When threatened, the slow loris raises its arms above its head, not for a cute pose, but to mix a potent toxin from a gland on its arm with its saliva. It then delivers a nasty, painful, and potentially anaphylactic bite. This isn't just a mild itch. For some people, it can cause severe swelling, pain, necrosis, and even potentially life-threatening allergic reactions. They're not just slow, they're sneaky toxic. That innocent stare is often a sign of distress in captured lorises, who are unfortunately frequently exploited for illegal pet trade, often having their venomous teeth brutally clipped, which of course causes its own host of horrific problems for the animal. So, while you're busy melting over its big eyes, that loris might be preparing a cocktail of its own toxic spit, ready to deliver a dose of unexpected pain. Basically, that cute little tickle monster is secretly a tiny, adorable, walking poison dart. Confirmed. Here's your content exactly as provided. Number 9. The friendly swan's furious flight. You're at a peaceful park, strolling by a serene pond, and there it is, a beautiful swan, gliding gracefully across the water, its long neck curved elegantly. They look so majestic, so serene, like living sculptures of purity and calm. You might even feel a sense of awe at their tranquil beauty. They're basically the ballet dancers of the bird world. And then, without warning, they transform into feathered psychopaths. What if I told you that these elegant creatures are actually aggressive, territorial bullies with the wingspan of a small aircraft and a temper like a frustrated airline passenger? Swans are notoriously protective of their nests and their young, and if you get too close, that graceful glide turns into a full-on hissing, wing-flapping assault. And those wings aren't just for show, they're incredibly powerful. A blow from a swan's wing can break an arm or a leg, and they've been known to drown smaller animals or even people who venture too close to their young. Their beauty is a deceptive facade for pure, unadulterated rage. They don't just warn you, they attack. So while you're admiring their majestic form, remember that underneath that pristine white exterior is a creature that will absolutely mess you up if you invade its personal space. Basically, that beautiful swan isn't a graceful dancer. It's a feathered gangster who owns that pond, and you just disrespected its turf. Number 8. The harmless hippo's hidden horror. Imagine you're watching a nature documentary, and there's a group of hippos submerged in water, just their eyes and nostrils visible. They look so ponderous, so docile, just big, sleepy river potatoes. You might think, they're just chilling, enjoying a nice bath. They seem utterly unbothered, perhaps even a little clumsy. And that, my friend, is one of the most dangerous misconceptions you could ever have about an animal. What if I told you that these seemingly placid giants are actually responsible for more human deaths in Africa than any other large animal, including lions and crocodiles? Hippos are incredibly territorial and surprisingly fast, both in water and on land. That massive lumbering body hides immense power and a terrifying set of tusks. Yes, tusks, like overgrown canine teeth that can grow up to 20 inches long. They will charge boats, overturn them, and attack anyone in the water who they perceive as a threat. And they're not doing it for food. They're doing it because you existed in their space. Their aggression is legendary, fueled by a combination of protectiveness, short tempers, and sheer brute force. That yawn you see? That's not a sign of sleepiness. It's a threat display, showing off those terrifying dental weapons. So while you're thinking big lazy water pig, that hippo is thinking get out of my pool, or I will end you. Basically, the hippo is the undisputed heavyweight champion of river rage, and you don't want to get in its way. Number 7. The gentle giant manatee's mass. You see a manatee, right? Round, gentle, swimming slowly through clear waters, sometimes described as sea cows. They look so peaceful, so unthreatening, like big, harmless vegetarians. You might even hear stories of them being curious and approaching boats. You just want to gently drift alongside them, admiring their serene existence. They're basically the cuddly, slow-moving vegetarians of the ocean. But their very existence and the way we interact with them points to a terrifying potential. What if I told you that while manatees themselves are gentle, their sheer immense size and surprising speed can make them incredibly dangerous, not to us intentionally, but to themselves and others? These animals can weigh over 1,300 pounds and measure up to 13 feet long. While they don't attack, their slow movement makes them highly vulnerable to boat collisions, which are a leading cause of manatee deaths. But imagine if one of these massive, muscle-bound torpedoes accidentally bumped into your small boat or surfboard. They're not trying to hurt you, but the pure inertia of that much blubber and muscle could easily capsize you or cause serious injury. Their gentleness is often a product of their inability to move quickly away from threats, rather than a conscious pacifism. They don't have fangs or claws, but they have the raw, accidental power of a small submarine. So, while you're marveling at their peaceful swim, remember that their sheer bulk makes them an unintentional, slow-motion wrecking ball. Basically, the manatee isn't trying to hurt you. It just doesn't realize its hug could send you to the hospital. Number 6. The cute otter's vicious streak. You see an otter, right? Playful, whiskered, holding hands while they sleep, juggling rocks, sliding down muddy banks. They are undeniably adorable, practically the poster children for aquatic whimsy. You've probably seen 100 viral videos of their antics and thought, I need one of these tiny, joyful water puppies. They seem utterly incapable of anything but bringing pure delight to your day. Well, prepare for your cute meter to short-circuit, because these little rascals are anything but harmless. What if I told you that these seemingly innocent creatures are actually apex predators of their watery domains, capable of shocking brutality? Otters, particularly sea otters, are incredibly strong and have sharp teeth and powerful jaws, designed for crushing shells and bones. They can be fiercely territorial, and if they feel threatened, they will attack. There are documented cases of otters attacking dogs and even humans, causing serious bites that require medical attention. River otters have been known to raid fish farms with brutal efficiency. And here's the kicker that will ruin your day. Some male sea otters have been observed engaging in incredibly disturbing behavior with baby seals, holding them captive and, well, violently mating with them, often leading to the seal pup's death. That playful juggling act? It's just a display of their dexterity, which they also use to rip apart their prey. Basically, that cute little fur ball is less a playful puppy and more a pint-sized aquatic serial killer with a charming smile. Got it. Here's your content exactly as provided. Number 5. The majestic moose's murderous mindset. Imagine standing in a vast, quiet wilderness, and then a majestic moose steps into view, towering, regal, with those impressive antlers, if it's a male. They look like a symbol of untamed nature, stoic and grand. You might feel a sense of privilege to witness such a magnificent beast in its natural habitat. They're basically the kings and queens of the forest, all slow dignity and quiet contemplation. But that quiet contemplation might just be about how to send you to the emergency room. What if I told you that these seemingly calm giants are actually one of the most dangerous animals in North America, responsible for more human injuries than bears and wolves combined? Moose are not inherently aggressive, but they are incredibly unpredictable and easily agitated. Their sheer size, they can stand over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh over 1,500 pounds, means that if they decide you're a threat, you are in serious trouble. They have powerful hooves that can crush bone, and those magnificent antlers are basically enormous, pointy weapons. They commonly charge at people, especially if they feel cornered, are protecting their young, or if it's mating season. They often give very few warning signs before they charge, making them particularly dangerous. That slow, lumbering walk, it can turn into a surprisingly fast, terrifying charge in an instant. Basically, that majestic moose isn't admiring your camera, it's debating whether to use you as target practice. Number 4. The innocent house cat's inner tiger. You're curled up on the couch, your fluffy house cat purring contentedly on your lap, kneading your sweater with those tiny paws. They look so domesticated, so utterly dependent on your affection, just a soft, furry bundle of purrs and cuddles. You think, my sweet little fur baby could never hurt a fly. They're basically miniature domesticated lions, but without all the lion-y bits. Well, prepare for your cozy domestic bliss to be shattered by a tiny furry tyrant. What if I told you that your adorable furball is actually a highly efficient, instinct-driven predator with a remarkably high kill count, even when well-fed? That gentle kneading motion? It's an instinctual behavior from kittenhood, often associated with milk production, but those tiny claws are miniature versions of what their wild cousins use to disembowel prey. Cats are natural-born hunters, and even the most pampered house cat will stalk, pounce, and kill small animals, often just for sport, regardless of hunger. They view toys as prey, your ankles as unsuspecting targets, and sometimes even you as a large, slightly annoying plaything to be ambushed. That purr of contentment? It's a complex vocalization that can also signify fear, anxiety, or even pain, not just happiness. And while your cat might not be a direct threat to your life unless you're a mouse, their impact on local bird and small mammal populations is devastating. Basically, your sweet kitty isn't just a pet. It's a miniature, purring, highly effective killing machine with a charming facade. Number 3. The cute raccoon's rabid reality. You see a raccoon, right? Masked face, dexterous little hands, often portrayed as mischievous, but ultimately harmless tricksters. They rummage through your trash, sure, but they look so clever, so resourceful, like little bandits with adorable ringed tails. You might even find yourself leaving out a little something for them, thinking they're just misunderstood urban wildlife. They're basically the lovable rogues of the night, straight out of a Disney movie. But that cuteness comes with a shockingly high probability of something far less charming. What if I told you that these seemingly innocent nocturnal foragers are actually primary carriers of rabies and a host of other unpleasant diseases? That charming mask isn't just for show. It's a perfect visual for a creature that you absolutely should not approach. While not all raccoons have rabies, they are one of the most common carriers in North America, and their behavior when infected can become erratic, aggressive, and unpredictable. Beyond rabies, they can carry roundworm, leptospirosis, and distemper, all of which can be transmitted to humans or pets. Those clever little hands? They're also perfect for ripping into garbage, but they can also deliver a nasty disease-transmitting scratch or bite if they feel cornered. So while you're cooing over their bandit antics, remember that they are wild animals, and any perceived friendliness could be a symptom of a deadly illness. Basically, that cute raccoon isn't asking for a handout. It's potentially offering you a trip to the emergency room for a series of very uncomfortable shots. Number 2. The loyal dog's lethal instincts. You're walking down the street and you see a dog, maybe a fluffy golden retriever or a playful poodle. They're wagging their tail, perhaps sniffing your hand, looking like man's best friend, eager for a pat. You trust them, right? They're domesticated, loving, and just want to be good boys or girls. You think, dogs are just big, happy puppies. Well, prepare for that trust to be, if not completely shattered, at least seriously questioned. Because even the most beloved pet harbors the instincts of a predator. What if I told you that despite centuries of domestication, every single dog, no matter how tiny or seemingly placid, still possesses the fundamental instincts of a wolf, including the capacity for severe aggression and lethal force? Dogs are animals, and they can and do bite, often with devastating consequences. Over 4.5 million people are bitten by dogs in the U.S. each year, and a significant number of these require medical attention, sometimes resulting in permanent injury or worse. That wagging tail can be a sign of excitement, yes, but it can also be a sign of anxiety or warning, especially if it's stiff and rapid. Their playful nipping can escalate, and their territorial instincts, even over a squeaky toy, can trigger an attack. It's not about bad dogs. It's about underestimating the raw, powerful instincts that lie beneath the domesticated veneer. Even the friendliest dog can revert to primal behavior if threatened, startled, or trained improperly. Basically, your furry best friend is also a descendant of a top predator, and sometimes those ancient instincts resurface with a vengeance. Number 1. The peaceful panda's powerful predatory past. You see a panda, right? Black and white, endlessly munching bamboo, looking clumsy and perpetually sleepy. They're basically the embodiment of gentle giants, too focused on their leafy diet to be bothered with anything aggressive. They are the universal symbol of cuteness and conservation, surely harmless creatures. You just want to gently pat their fluffy heads while they munch away. Well, prepare for your tranquil image of this bamboo-loving bear to be utterly shattered. What if I told you that despite their cuddly appearance and vegetarian diet, giant pandas are still bears, with all the raw power, massive claws, and crushing bite force that implies? While their diet consists almost exclusively of bamboo, their digestive system is still that of a carnivore, meaning they could eat meat if they wanted to, and their bodies are built for it. They possess incredible strength, capable of climbing trees with surprising agility and delivering powerful blows with their paws. They are solitary animals in the wild and can be fiercely territorial, especially if their personal space is invaded or if their cubs are threatened. There have been documented cases of pandas attacking humans in zoos, particularly when they feel stressed or cornered. That calm munching? It's just their preferred way to spend 12 hours a day, not a sign of pacifism. Get between a mother panda and her cub, or startle one in the wild, and you'll quickly realize that their cuteness is merely a very effective camouflage for a potentially dangerous, albeit usually docile, animal. Basically, that cute, clumsy panda is a bear that chooses to eat bamboo. But don't assume it can't choose you for dessert if it's having a bad day.